Exponential equations, part 7.
Take a look at these 4 simple questions on the board. Let's look at the first question here. It says 1 over 3 raised to the power y plus 1 over 3 raised to the power y plus 3 raised to the power y plus 3 raised to the power y equals 81. We have to find the value of y. The first thing I will need to do is to combine these ones. For me to do that, I can simply start by saying let 3 raised to the power y equal to r. So that means in this equation now, whenever I see 3 raised to the power y, I'll simply put what r. So if I do that, I'll write this whole thing as 1 over r plus r plus r. And that will be equal to what? 81. So that this one can write as 1 over 3 what r equals what? 81. 3r because this one is taken as 1r plus 1r plus 1r. And that is what? 3r. So now the next thing I will do is to cross multiply. If I cross multiply, then I'll get this as 1 equal to 81 times 3 what r. So now I need to remove the 81 from here again, dividing both sides by what? 81. If I divide both sides by 81, I'll get 1 over 81 equal to 3 what r. 3r because I divided both sides by 81, so 81 will cancel out, so I'll get 1 over 81 equals what? 3r. Now 81, we can write 81 as 3 raised to power 4. And how did I get 3 raised to power 4? Let's divide this. If we divide this thing, 81 divided by 3 will give us what? 27. 27 divided by 3 is 9. 9 divided by 3 again is what? 3. And 3 divided by 3 is what? 1. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And that gives what? 3 raised to power 4. And 3 raised to power 4 is something as what? 81. So now I'll know that. So we get 1 over 3 raised to power 4 equals 3r. So what I'll do next, this one, based on what we did on exponents, the rules of exponents, that should be rule number 4. If you have not watched that video, that series on exponents, you need to go back and watch that video to give you an insight into what I'm writing here now. I write this one as 3 raised to power minus what? 4. 3 raised to power minus 4 equal to 3r. 3 raised to power minus 4 equals what? 3 what? r. 3 raised to power minus 4. Okay, the next thing I'll do is to find a way to cancel out this 3. I can divide both sides by 3. Now. If I divide both sides by 3, then I'll get this as 3 raised to the power minus 4 divided by 3 equal to 3r all over 3. So this one can cancel this one here. And based on what we did on exponents, that should be the second rule of exponent now. We can write this one first as 3 raised to the power minus 4 divided by 3 raised to the power what? 1. So if you apply that second rule of exponents, that will say if the bases are equal, we take one of the base and then we subtract what? The powers. We subtract the powers. Of course, the right hand side is 3r. So here is 3 and here is 3. I'll take 1, 3 now. Then I'll subtract the powers. I have minus 4 because of the division sign now. Minus 1 equals what? R. So minus 4 minus 1. Minus 4 minus 1 will give us what? Minus 5. So we get 3 raised to the power minus 5 equals what? R. So now that we have obtained the value of R, the next thing is to get the value of Y. Remember, R is what? 3 raised to the power what? Y. So now I'll replace R with 3 raised to the power Y. So I'll get, okay, let's put that so that you know exactly what we are doing. We can say that 3 raised to the power Y equals what? R. So I now substitute the value now. So I'll get 3 raised to the power minus 5 equals 3 raised to the power Y. If you look at that now, you see that the base are equal on both sides. And remember the simple rule. If the base are equal, it means the powers are equal. Therefore, minus 5 equals what? Y. Or we can say that Y equals what? Minus 5. It is as simple as what? A, B, C. It's not something difficult that you cannot handle. Okay? Just ensure you take a look at it working. If you have any question on this, send it to me in my WhatsApp number. It's +234 80 368 55152. If you are watching on Facebook, watching on TikTok, like, share, and follow us on Facebook and TikTok. Now let's take a look at the second question here. It looks a little bit tricky, but it's not. It's a very, very simple question. Still based on the rule of what? Exponents. Okay, let me erase this one now. You can also send your question in the comment section. Okay, let's take a look at question 2. Let's take a look at question 2. If you have something like this, the 60th root of x raised to the power 72 divided by x raised to the power 12 equals 5. There are two possible ways of doing this one. I can decide to just write everything here, multiplying the power here by 1/60, and this 1/60, we call it 60 here. Okay? Or I can decide to apply the second rule of exponent directly, because this line here is same thing as what? Division, which is what I'll prefer to use. So I'll write this whole thing here as x raised to power, let's put this as x raised to power 72 divided by s raised to power 12. Then this root sign is 60th root. Question 2. 60 here. Everything is equal to what? 5. So let's not forget that 5. Okay, equals what? 5. So, we apply the second rule of exponent now. We'll get 60c here, 60th root. Then we'll take one of the x because the bases are equal. I take one of the base, I subtract the powers. I have 72 minus 12 equals what? 5. 72 minus 12 gives us what? 60. So that I'll get x to the power 60, then 60 here, equals what? 5. I told you it's not a difficult question, okay? It's not always what difficult, just think about it to apply, okay? So now, remove this one now. Remove this one, I'll write this whole thing as x raised to the power 60, brackets, 1 over 60, that is equal to what? 5. And those of you wondering how I have to write this one as 1 over what? 60. There is a rule of exponent that says a raised to power x over y becomes the y root of a raised to power what? X. This one we can write it as a raised to power x times 1 over y, okay, being equal to the y root of a over x. So if I compare this one here with this one, okay, if I compare the y outside here, is this 60 now? Okay, let me just write it here so I see what I'm doing here. Let's put it like this now. Let's do the comparison. here is 60, here is x, and here is what? 60. You see that clearly now? So now this y is this 60 outside, this a is this x here, then this x is equal to what? 60. So like if I turn this one back this way now, okay, remember a is now x, so in place of this a, I'll put what? X, and raised to power x. X is what? 60, so I put what? 60, then times 1 over y. Y is what? 60, so times what? 1 over what? 60. Okay? You see that now? So that's the same thing as what I've written here. So there is no what? Manipulation. So now we can cancel out now. So this 60 here, we cancel this one. And if that happens, so this one cancels this. It means x is equal to what? 5. X is equal to what? 5. So it's not something really difficult. Just try and ensure you look through our series on exponents part 1 to 5. Okay? You understand everything we are doing here, but that is a prerequisite to what we are doing in these lectures. Okay? Now let's take a look at question 3. Question 3 says 2 raised to the power y minus square root of 32 equals 0. If this minus this equals 0, find the value of y. Find the value of y. If we want to do a question like that, okay, let me just use this part. This is this part of the board. These things are not difficult. By the way, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, if you are watching on YouTube, just hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button if you are watching on YouTube. Okay, so let's see 2 raised to the power y minus square root of 32 equals what? 0. This might look a little bit tricky at first, but it's not. It's just as simple as question 1 and question 2, which we solved what earlier. Now let's take a look at this one. If I want to solve a question like this, because of this minus sign, I can take this root 32 across the equality because here is what? 0. So that I write this one as 2 raised to the power y equals 0 plus root 32. Plus, because this is minus. If minus crosses the equality sign, becomes what? Plus. So that I will now get 2 raised to the power y equals square root of what? 32. What I'll do from here is, I can write this one as 32 raised to the power what? Half. 32 raised to the power half, based on what we did there. This rule here now. And use that rule to evaluate this. So this one becomes 32 raised to the power 1 over what? 2. 32 raised to the power 1 over what? 2. What is 32? 32 means 2 raised to the power what? 5. 2 raised to the power what? 5. 32 means 2 raised to the power 5. So that's you have 2 raised to the power y equals 2 raised to the power 5, then of course times what? Half. If you are wondering how we got 2 raised to the power 5, to get that 2 raised to the power 5, again we can divide that. We divide 32, we have 32. 32 divided by 2, that was 16. 16 divided by 2 is what? 8. 8 divided by 2 is what? 4. Then 4 divided by 2 is what? 2. And 2 divided by 2 gives us what? 1. So if we count, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's 2 raised to the power 5. So now the next thing I will do, I'll write this as 2 raised to the power y equals 2 raised to the power 5 times what? Half, which is what? 5 over what? 2. So now again the bases are equal on both sides. And if the bases are equal on both sides, it means the powers are equal. Therefore, y equals 5 over 2. 5 over 2 is same thing as what? 2 number 1 over what? 2. And if you like, you can write that as what? 2 point what? 2.05. So it depends on the type of exam you are doing. Once you get to this point, you check if it's an objective exam to see how the options are written. If you're writing the GRE, the SAT, the GCSE, the Wassce, or the GMAT, okay, you look at the question, the options for you to know if you have to stop here, or write the answer like this, or write the answer like this. It is not a difficult question, always simple as ABC. My name remains Godwin Aride. I'll see you in our next class.